And on the line with us this morning, Clint Weimer. He is the superintendent of the Marion Center School District, and our conversation brought to you this morning by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Clint, how are you today?
Good. How's things going for you, Todd?
Wonderful. As we get it rolling here and move on into spring, this is the first full day of spring, and well, I know things are looking up all around, and including in the school front for you. You're entering into the home stretch here, huh?
Yeah, we're getting down there. Spring sports, practicing, getting ready to get started, and hopefully the weather holds out here and we have a good spring. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, there are other things going on. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk about some of those outdoor activities. But let's talk about what's going on academically at Marion Center right now. And I know, like other school districts, there are standardized testings that have to take place. And that's not an easy thing to pull off, is it? There are some specific rules and regs you have to follow.
Yeah. I mean, our entire staff has to be trained in the protocol on how to administer the test, security of them, where we store them. They need to, of course, be in locked areas. Just following all the protocols. But the biggest thing is putting the work in and making sure the students are as prepared as they can be to take such a high-stakes exam. And our students' teachers are doing a great job preparing for the test, and all I ask is they do their best.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's talk about what those tests actually accomplish from the school district's perspective, because I know you wait to find out what the results were, where your students finished in terms of comparisons to other schools around this area or around the state, but more importantly, where they do in terms of your expectations for them and where they actually finish. How does the school district actually use the numbers from the standardized tests?
Well, we look at the numbers to make sure our students are progressing from grade level to grade level and from year to year amongst cohorts. We use it to analyze our curriculum to make sure we're addressing what is on the test, but still trying to provide enough enrichment within the curriculum to make education still exciting and rigorous for the students. Every parent, I'm sure you're familiar with, gets a letter sent home from the state of how their student performed, whether it's advanced or proficient or basic. We take it seriously. We convey the data. We value it and analyze our curriculum with it. But it's not the end-all, be-all. We do a lot more in our schools and in our classrooms than just the standardized testing in the effort to prepare our kids to be successful when they leave school and enter the workforce or college. So it's one data point we use, and, of course, it's a big one. Mm-hmm. But it's not the only measure that we use to determine if our students are being successful.
Do you often, or at least from time to time, take a look at those results, see where your students stand, and say, okay, we need to really adjust the curriculum in this area specifically or that area to make sure our scores are keeping up and our standards of what we need to be teaching the kids keep up?
Every year we analyze that. We look at our middle school math right now. We look at our science. We look at all of our areas. In an area that seems like it has a learning gap. And, of course, under COVID, there's some unique learning struggles going on out there for all the districts. But absolutely, if we see a weakness or an area that we're not doing as well in or maybe regressed, we kind of dissect that and see what we need to do to improve it for the next year.
When we got to the beginning of the 2020 school year and then got to the 2021 school year, of course, you were dealing with an education gap that was created the previous spring by COVID-19, and whether or not it got worse in 2021 or better, I'm not sure from your standpoint. But where do you stand now in terms of the education gap that was created by the pandemic?
I think the gap is going to be easier to fill over the next couple of years than some of the social, emotional, and mental health concerns that are occurring across the county from the burden that COVID may have put on families. And so not only are we working to improve our academics, but we're making sure we're supporting our students on all fronts so they can achieve when they come through the door. Because, last school year was a broken year with the diverse schedules that we had to run. We've been very fortunate here since this school year and since Christmas break there. We've been able to be fairly consistent, and we can see the students are performing better when they can depend on being in school every day and the quarantine levels and necessarily the intensity of COVID has subsided some to where we can concentrate on what schools do best, and that's educate kids.
Well, I'm sure that that's a relief to the teaching, the faculty members as well, to be able to say, okay, let's just think about what our subject matter is for the day and not worry about some of that other stuff. Has to be a tremendous burden lifted off their shoulders.
I mean, Todd, we're still conscious of the COVID situation. We're still focused on making sure students are safe, but as you know, in the county, numbers have went down drastically since January, and it does allow our teachers to look at a classroom and not have half their class quarantined. The effort of keeping kids caught up and makeup work is off their plate, and they're focused on moving forward so much as just maintaining.
Yeah, it has to be a great relief to them. All right, let's talk about some other things within the school district. Budget process, of course, going on. That's not something that just comes together in a day or a week. It's a process that you begin. I know you're always thinking about it, but you really get down to it in January and up until June. How's it going?
We're working through it. It's a similar but different process every year. I'm sure all the superintendents tell you that same story. Working through it. We'll have some budget discussion tonight. It's tough, Todd, until the state gives us a little bit more direction on what they're actually going to release to us and when they approve their budget. So as you know, every year we're kind of going in blind, making our best predictions, trying to inform our taxpayers the best we can of what information we have, and try to provide as many opportunities as we can for the kids. We're going to continue to narrow the focus here this month, and then next month we're really going to have to start getting it narrowed down and make a presentation to the board, because we have to, as you know, approve our tentative budget in May and then final approval in June.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me about it is that we've never come up with a better system than the one that we have. We understand the way that it is and why it is the way that it is, but it seems like it really puts school boards back against the wall as they have to do exactly what you just said. And that being said, things that in the past couple of years have come up have been technology budgets that have had to be muscled up a little bit and strengthened, and I'm sure that you've had to do that as well within the Marion Center district. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. We've strengthened a lot of programs. As you know, the ESSER's money has been out there. We've used that to support kids. And it plugged the hole here during the pandemic, and for the next couple of years, it's going to continue to support kids, whether it's technology or summer programs or after-school programs. But when that all goes away, we're going to have to continue to maintain those vital programs because, as you know, the need for technology in schools and the different platforms for learning is constantly changing.
Yeah, they truly are. All right, we mentioned sports a couple of moments ago and their importance to the life of a school district and the life of a school year, really. And now kids are starting to get outside, baseball practice, softball practice going on. I think first games are coming up at the end of this week already. It's hard to believe as that transition comes. You've got track and field, and I know the kids are all looking forward to it, and everybody else is too, getting outside and watching the sports.
Yeah, you can see it is this time of year, the campus comes alive. We got kids moving about all over the place after school, baseball, softball. Kids get a chance to get out and have some fun, and we're really looking forward to having some successful spring seasons here and just letting the kids let their hair down and get out and enjoy it, not worrying so much, again, about what's going on with the pandemic, and just be kids and enjoy those extracurricular activities.
Yeah, and while that's at the high school level, at the elementary school level, I know it's really important for the kids to get outside as well. And it might not be organized team sports after school so much, but I know what an emphasis you place on the kids being able to get out and blow off some steam, as they say, but just do some learning outdoors.
Our elementary teachers sees every opportunity to get our kids outside. Marion Center takes great pride in unless there's a foot of snow or just terrible conditions, our kids go out for recess every day, and you can just feel the energy on our playgrounds and so forth with the little ones out running around. And then it allows them to come back in and maintain a focus and continue with their academics. So, our elementary teachers do a great job of, if they can get the kids outside, they do.
I wondered about that because it seems that I know that administrators and teachers do place an emphasis on it because it seems to help them in the classroom to be able to get outside and move about a little bit. And as you said, it does, doesn't it? It improves their focus.
It absolutely does. On the days that, and I can't speak for the other districts, but I'm really impressed that our kids go out on days that I thought, wow, I can't believe they were out there and that, but you can tell when they don't get to go outside. It's a downer for them. They really enjoy having that break during the day.
Yeah.
Get out to get that physical activity. And again, it does help them finish the rest of their day. It's something they look forward to every day.
All right. Well, I look forward to coming out, covering some Marion Center softball and baseball. I love to walk over in my flip-flops and take them off and walk in the grass. And maybe those are those folks who are working in the administrative staff. You all have my permission to take off your socks and shoes and go walking in the grass too, Eric Clint. How's that sound?
Maybe we'll do that. Once the mud gets all cleared up, maybe we'll come over and do that.
Yeah, you don't want the mud squeezing there between your toes. Clint Weimer, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Todd.
Have a great day.
You too.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 F, 101.1 F.